You should have seen their faces. A pack of HOA board members in pastel polos and sun hats, standing frozen at the trailhead like someone had just canceled Christmas. Where they expected an open hiking trail, they found something else, a brand new steel gate, locked tight, with a giant wooden sign that read, "Private property, no trespassing." And the best part? My name was on it. You could hear the gasps echo down the ridge. Their beloved weekend trail, the one they bragged about maintaining, the one they guilted residents into cleaning up, was officially closed. Permanently. And they had absolutely no idea it was even for sale, let alone that I had bought it. Why did I do it? Because a few weeks earlier, they fined me for unauthorized hunting on my own land. Not only did they trespass to spy on me, but they slapped me with a fine so big it felt personal. And when I tried to explain that I wasn't even in HOA jurisdiction, they laughed me off and threatened legal action. That was the moment I realized logic wasn't going to fix this, but land ownership? Now that speaks louder than complaints. They wanted a fight. What they got was a gate they could never open. I moved to the edge of town for peace. That I'm not a city guy. I like waking up to birds, chopping firewood, and hunting every fall. So when I found a nice chunk of land nestled next to a protected forest, I grabbed it. 5 acres of paradise. And the best part? It wasn't part of any HOA. That was a selling point. For years, life was good. I built a small cabin, planted a garden, and spent weekends hiking and hunting deer. Nothing excessive, all legal and ethical. I even tagged my land properly and followed all wildlife regulations. But recently, the neighborhood expanded. The HOA from the next development started to reach out further. Suddenly, I noticed new trail signs, unfamiliar hikers, and HOA newsletters being dropped off at my door. I ignored them at first. Then one day, I came home to a warning taped to my cabin door. It accused me of hunting in a community zone and warned me of an impending fine. Confused, I tried calling the number listed, but the woman on the other end just scoffed and said, "You can't just shoot things out here. This is a family neighborhood." I reminded her that I wasn't even in their neighborhood. "That land backs into ours," she said smugly. "It affects us." That's when I knew this wasn't about safety or rules. It was about control. And I wasn't about to be told what to do on land I owned. Days later, I received an envelope labeled HOA infraction notice. Inside was a fine for $1,200 and a printout of blurry photos that supposedly showed me actively hunting. One showed me wearing camouflage. Another showed me dragging a deer across my lawn. Both were taken from a distance that IT was unnerving. They had clearly trespassed to spy on me. I immediately contacted the local sheriff. He looked over the materials and told me, "You're not under HOA jurisdiction. They don't have any authority here. Toss it." So I did. But the HOA didn't stop there. Next came the group emails. Subject line, "Dangerous activity near trail." They warned residents that a rogue hunter was operating in the woods. My address was included. The neighborhood Facebook group exploded. People called me names. A few parents knocked on my door demanding I stop killing animals near their kids. Except, their kids shouldn't have been near my land in the first place. Then came the petition. Apparently, the HOA board voted to officially absorb the adjacent greenbelt and hiking trail, the one that partially touched my property. They planned to declare it a community nature reserve. I had to laugh. The only problem? They didn't own it. A third of that trail was on land owned by an out-of-state developer. And guess what? It was for sale. Things got ugly fast. Someone egged my cabin. Another time, I found broken glass near my driveway. Still, I stayed calm. I documented everything. I kept to myself. I knew if I retaliated, they'd spin it against me. Then came the community meeting. I wasn't invited, but a neighbor friend recorded it. They called me a menace and a backwards outsider. One board member even joked, "Maybe if we put up enough signs, he'll crawl back into the woods." That stung, but it also fired me up, because while they were busy gossiping, I was busy negotiating. I called the developer who owned the trail-adjacent land. Turns out, he was tired of dealing with the HOA too. They had hounded him for years about trail improvements they wanted but refused to fund. So when I offered full price, cash, he was more than happy to sell. It took 2 weeks to close. Suddenly, I owned a long sliver of land that just so happened to include the most scenic stretch of the community's favorite hiking trail. It curved right along a creek with benches and a bridge. The same spot they used for Instagram posts and dog walks. Now, it belonged to me. And I had plans that before I made a move, I did my homework that I hired a local land use attorney to verify everything. Yes, I could block public access. Yes, I could post private property signs. Yes, I could install a gate. And most importantly, the HOA couldn't do a damn thing about it. Still, I waited. I wanted the timing to hurt. So I picked the week of the Community Hikeathon, a fundraiser they held every spring. The flyers were everywhere. The trail was their pride. Their reputation. 2 days before the event, I posted signs at every trail entrance. Private land. Entry prohibited by owner. Then I bolted the gates. No warning. No calls. Just closure. Within hours, I got the first email from the HOA president. Asterisk, there must be some misunderstanding. Please remove the signs immediately. I replied with the deed. Then came the threats. Legal letters. Angry voicemails. I ignored them all. I had every right to shut it down. And I wasn't opening it again. Not for them. The news spread like wildfire. Nature. Trail closed indefinitely due to land dispute. Neighbors started knocking on my door, asking if they could still walk their dogs. I told them politely, no, not anymore. The HOA tried damage control, claiming I was being vindictive. But I released my own statement online, complete with screenshots of their harassment and the photos they took trespassing. Public sympathy shifted. One by one, people started questioning the board. Residents showed up at meetings demanding answers. Donations for the hikeathon dried up. Their Facebook group went quiet. Meanwhile, I started improving my land. Built a fence, planted native shrubs, installed trail cameras. I wasn't just blocking access. I was protecting what I owned. And for the first time in months, I felt peace again. I never wanted a war. I just wanted respect. When the HOA showed up at my gate that weekend, fuming and red-faced, I calmly walked out with a copy of the deed. You can't do this, one shouted. I already did, I said. You're destroying community access. You destroyed that when you came for me. I handed them the paperwork. They had nothing to say. They backed off eventually. I heard they started scouting new areas to move the trail. But nothing came close to the land I now owned. I wasn't trying to be a villain. But I wasn't going to be bullied either. I won because I stayed calm, played smart, and used the one thing they never expected, their own arrogance. Today, my land is quiet again. The trail is gone, but the deer are back. So are the birds. I still hunt, still hike, still live the life I chose. The HOA? They don't bother me anymore. Every now and then, a new resident wanders by and asks about the gate. I smile and say, long story, but it's mine now. If there's one lesson in all this, it's this. Don't let people scare you off what you own. Rights means something. Boundaries matter. And sometimes, the best way to fight back is to buy the hill they think they own and build a gate right at the top.